This meeting is being recorded.
Yeah, so kind of had some technical difficulties, but we're back. So we were talking about the kind of where the change happened as far as music and going out in clubs or whatever, and talking about, the impact of Dr. Dre, Snoop, whole Death Row. But yeah, that I went back to look up because that was bothering me. So the album that he actually had after he left Death Row was Dr. Dre Presents the Aftermath. So I remember one of the lead singles, and there's a video to it that's called Been There, Done That, which wasn't a bad single. I vaguely remember the whole album, but it didn't have the impact. So fast forward when he went to the Chronic, so that was in 1996. Chronic came out, it's kind of crazy.
What's that?
Happened? Because I think that album, I'm sorry, I got everything mixed up, forgive me. So when he left Ruthless, Chronic did come out. That Aftermath album that I'm talking about with Been There, Done That is after he left Death Row.
Oh.
Yeah, so I had it mixed up. So
okay, so Ruthless was under Eazy-E.
Eazy-E, NWA, straight out of Compton.
Right. So when he left there and got with Suge Knight, that's Chronic. That's Death Row.
That's Death Row, Chronic.
Okay, that's when Chronic came out.
Chronic came out in 1992.
And then they got mad at him, kicked him out, and he did Aftermath, and that's when he did.
Yeah, Aftermath was 1996.
Gotcha. I'm on it.
I had them mixed up. Yeah, I had them mixed up.
I'm all on it.
Yeah. Love Dre. So that's when the game changed. Because it was primarily before that, clubs were very R&B based. That was during the house era, a lot of house music, techno kind of feel. And then Chronic came out and changed the whole game. When I say change the whole game, and let me tell you, and I thought about this story when I was thinking about doing the podcast tonight. So when the Chronic came out, 92, I was in the military, Air Force, and I was stationed in Tampa. Shout out to Tampa, to the Bay, once again, second home.
Much love.
So I was actually there. And the crazy thing about it, this is back when we had record stores. This back before you get streaming and internet and all that. You had to go to the record store. To the record store. And yeah, I actually went to get the tape. I actually went with the homies and went to the record store, and I can't remember. It was a primary location. I know they're not in the Bay anymore, but I went to the store to get. Actually, what was the hype was the Eazy-E tape or CD, or what CDs wasn't even out. Well, CDs were out, but it was the cassette tape. I was going to get Eazy-E. That's what I went to the store for, to get the Eazy-E. And because Eazy-E was, we knew Eazy. So I was going to get Eazy-E, and I never forget this. The guy, white guy, he told me, bruh, get your Eazy, but you need to get this Chronic. I'm like, Chronic? Dre? Chronic? He was like, bruh, you need to get this. Now, I think during that time, I think G-Thing was out, and it had a little buzz with it, G-Thing. And like I said before, the initial was the Deep Cover, the song off of the Deep Cover soundtrack. Yeah. 187 on
Snoop.
Yeah. So they had buzz there, and then G-Thing was out. So there was buzz there. And I think maybe by that time Dre Day was out too. But he was like, get the Chronic. I got that Chronic tape. Bruh. I don't know how many copies. Shout out to Dr. Dre, Snoop, Death Row. How many copies of the Chronic I done purchased?
Wow.
Bro, I probably had 2 or 3 tapes, cassette tapes, which are, people don't buy cassette tapes no more. I probably had about 4 or 5 copies of CDs.
Yes, sir.
The record. I had the records.
Yeah, because you DJ'd though, bro.
I DJ'd when I got into DJing. So I probably bought the Chronic maybe 10 times at least. At least.
One person.
One person. So you can imagine probably other people have bought it more times than me.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it changed the game.
Different access. Yeah.
It changed the game. How big it changed the game. Let me tell you this, and then you're going to laugh at this. How big I feel that the Chronic changed the game. People smoke weed, but it was on the low. Them old school cats smoke weed. Like they were rolling it up in zigzags and joints, had roaches,
Yeah.
It was some old school cats from the 70s, the Vietnam vets and all that kind of mess. And, old school, they smoke weed. When the Chronic came out with Snoop, everybody smoked weed. Everybody. Everybody.
Say that part.
And it ain't stopped. It's to the point how powerful that was. Just the influence. And that's what one of the big things with hip hop, the influence. That album, Snoop Dogg, Dre, fast forward to now, weed is legalized in so many states. I don't care where you go. Everything smell like weed.
I was just lying.
Yeah, everywhere. I don't smoke, No, you don't smoke. So it's hey, I don't not nobody's, whatever you do for your pleasure, have at it. But
no doubt.
But like people, let me tell you, weed would not be legalized today. And I'm saying it, my personal opinion, without the Chronic album, Dr. Dre and Snoop.
But see, that's how I ain't mean to cut you off, bro, but that's how movement operates. It don't necessarily have the effect right then and there as it will eventually. And that goes back to even Martin Luther King, when he was fighting for our rights to vote. We wasn't allowed to vote in his era. And he felt like that's where I changed. That's where our come up is going to come from us voting. And he fought and he fought and he fought. And then eventually we was able to vote, but some of us don't even show up at the polls. Touch on that a little bit. But I'm just saying that to bring in the fact that when they came in with Chronic, most people that I know would not even listen to it without blazing. Without even listen to it. And the reason why I was saying to you about how some people would teach their kids the Chronic album, more so, school lessons. I remember a young lady asking her child, and I'd say the child was probably about maybe 6 or 7. I'm guessing, so I really don't know. And she asked the child, "What's your favorite song on the Chronic?" I'm like, really? That's what we doing? that's you got to know your favorite song. And it was a conversation, even in the barbershops. I mean, when the Chronic it was so hot. It wasn't too many places that you would go and not talk about it. Maybe church. I don't know. I wasn't in the church at that time. Not at that time. But you would hear someone at the red light playing it. You will walk in your neighborhood, someone from their house bumping it. You're going to hear somebody car riding by it playing. It was on fire. I don't know if that was one of the top hip hop songs. The whole album. I'm talking about the whole album, not just the song or whatever, but the whole album, man. Shout out, man, for that whole era, because the Chronic did affect a lot of people and it brought change.
Yeah, it did. It changed the game. Clubs, radio was very R&B heavy. R&B heavy. Some rap was in there, but it was mainly New York rap. It's just that and the other. Chronic came and changed the game. West Coast started flooding the airways. And shout out to the West.
Shout out to the West, but we ain't gonna take nothing away from the North. Up in North, NYC, we know rap really, that type of rap anyway. It came from the North, but when it migrated all the way through, when the West came in, they put their foot on some people's throat.
Oh yeah, it got real. It got real. Yeah. Shout out to Q. Shout out to Too Short, Ice-T, E40.
too short.
Too short, boy. Too short. Let me tell you,
Ooh.
one of the and I'm gonna do one of my podcasts, my wrap up this year. I've seen a lot of people this year, bro. And I didn't want to get into it on this cast, but just this one of the concerts I did get to go, me and E Love, we actually got to see the West Side or West Mountmore
Oh yeah.
concert with Too Short, Ice Cube, Snoop, and E40.
Mm,
It was everything.
mm.
Definitely,
Those some
OGs in
heavy
the
hitters right
business,
there,
heavy
brother.
hitter,
Oh,
hits,
woo,
hits, hit after
woo.
hit after hit. And yeah,
Mm.
they were blazing in there.
No,
They were
needless to
blazing.
say,
Everybody was
yeah,
blazing, but
yeah.
shout out to them brothers, man, for doing
But it was
anything. But
all love, though.
it's
Did
all
anything?
love.
Yeah, okay, that's what we need to hear. We need to hear that was all love, throwing that old school rap back into the game. And
Mm,
E40, look how long this
mm,
brother been in the game. Mastermind, too short.
Short.
Oh, God,
Q.
Q.
Q. Yeah.
Writing for other people, putting other people on, being a blessing to
Movies.
somebody else, and
Um,
movement.
yeah.
Man, say that.
Definitely. And not can't say enough about Snoop. If you
Yeah.
don't put him, as far as one of the goats, I don't say there is a goat. I say there are goats, and he is
Yeah.
definitely one of the goats. I mean, to see his career start and to see where he is today,
Mm,
and
mm.
still have that influence over the masses and people know who he is. He represents hip hop to the fullest. And
Mm,
can't say enough about that
yeah,
brother.
he also represent like maintaining how you
Yeah.
maintain, how you adjust and adapt. Because think about where he started at and his
Yes.
loyalty, especially to Dre, who brought him in, and then being up under all of that at death row, but then staying light on his feet, go down to where Master P was at, and
Yes.
still working a contract out where he can stay light on his feet and get
Yeah.
out on his own. Oh my God. And then all of that Snoop been through, and now he owns the rights
The
to
row.
death row.
The row.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to Snoop,
But shout
man.
out to him because you even think deeper, and this is for young people to understand. No matter what your circumstances, you can get through them if you believe.
Come
And
on
I
now.
mean, you got to remember, think back. Snoop career could have went either way. He was on
Yep.
he was on trial for a murder,
Yes, he
being
was.
accessory to a murder. And by the grace of God, he got through that and was able to take that moment and elevate his career. A lot of brothers don't make it that way. That's
Boy,
truth
that's
be
Snoop,
told.
boy. I'll tell you, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, man, love to him because, like I said, the brother is light on his feet. He can adjust and adapt with whatever the situation may be, and he come out on top. That's a
Yes,
beautiful thing, man, and this is beautiful to look at.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, we kind of got off topic a little bit here, but but it all is in the same circle. But we were talking about crystals, and we are talking about Fifth Element, 935. Also spots that when we talk about the old school feel, that grown and sexy feel, to stay consistent with it. Got a shout out to 8 Tracks,
Hey, right.
Savoy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that stood long. I mean,
Yes,
eventually it
he
got changed
did.
to the White House, and they went on to something else, but it stood long. Great spot. Had a lot of good times up in there.
Yep, sure
Shout out
did.
to, I think, Stacy Blackman DJ'd up in there for the most part. Kept
Okay.
it going. Shout out to him. Been in the city for a long time. Even Club Royale, and I can't remember what it
Yep,
was before, out there in Brookshire. Had
right.
plenty of good times up in there. So a lot of places around the city. We even go to the hood. One of my old spots that I DJ'd at, we go to JB's on Statesville Ave.
JB's, Central
Yeah.
Ave.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Much love to JB's. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think towards the end, his son took it over until it
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
that much stuff. But right on the next road over, you had Miss Kitty's. You had
Ooh,
Rudine.
Rudine.
Oh my goodness, Rudine. What? Who didn't know
Shut up.
Rudine's? If you didn't know Rudine's for nothing else, you went there and got some chicken wings.
I didn't know, bruh. I didn't know Rudine's until I probably hanging out with you and IB. We
Yeah.
probably, yeah, that's when I started doing Rudine's, Miss Kitty, and doing all the spots on the Ford. Shout out to that. Oh, can't forget the spot on the Ford, Dirty Thursdays.
Yeah, Excelsior. Yeah.
Chelsea.
That's what I was gonna say because it depends on your mood. If you wanted fried chicken, you was probably at Rudine's. But if you had fish on your mind, go on down there to Excelsior. They had it
Bro,
all
there ain't
year.
nothing better than a spot that serve you some chicken wings and some fish. Give you a piece of white bread.
Yes, and
Oh,
a
I got a
piece of white
spot.
bread.
I got a spot. And yeah, shout out. Red cups in the air. But I got a spot and got put on to in O-Town, Orlando, and American Legion in Orlando. It's back on the other side of Orlando. I guess some people call it the hood, but it's where I feel comfortable at. But they used to do old school Saturdays or whatever there. It was either Saturday or Friday night. I don't remember which night, but chicken and fish. Oh,
Talk
bruh,
about it, bro. Talk about it.
bruh. I used to go back there and hurt myself. I can give me a little fish plate, couple little shrimp on there.
Oh man.
We down in Florida, so you might get a little conch,
Oh
a little fried
yeah.
conch.
And
Yeah,
fresh. That's that
yeah.
freshness.
Mm.
Yeah.
Don't play with me.
I heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Shout out to FLA, man. I love Florida.
I
Hood.
know you do. I
Yes,
know you
sir.
do. I every time I can't go to Florida without thinking about. I remember the time when I finally went. I was working though. I finally went to is that the Clarion? Was that the
Mm-hmm.
Clarion? Yeah. I finally went to the Clarion and in the House of Jazz. I took a picture. I say, bruh, I'm here. But I was
Jazz House.
working. I had to go to sleep. I couldn't hang.
Was
But
it the Jazz House was still open then, right? When you went?
it was still open at the time, and it
Uh,
was specific nights. They had different things going on. That was before the pandemic,
yeah.
because after the
And
pandemic, it was
pandemic, yeah, they shut
yeah,
down.
yes,
Great
sir.
spot. Like I said, I stand by it. Like outside of CJ's, that was the second best spot that I've been to on the East Coast. And
Wow.
yeah, and I've been to a lot of spots, even ATL. Like it's just that vibe, that growing sexy
Yeah.
vibe, you know. And that's what I live for. And not to say, some other spots don't have. Like I've been to, obviously we've been to the A, and
Yeah.
with Taboo 2 when it was open, and they actually got like it's like an upgrade. There's Marcello's there in the ATL, which if I'm in an A, I'm usually at Marcello's.
Okay.
But I've been to a couple of spots in the A that I've had a good time at. Sweet, which you kind of probably see on some of the Real Housewives TV shows and all that. Sweet is good early. After that, they go to the younger crowd, which I understand is downtown Atlanta, so I get
Okay.
it.
Okay.
I've been to another spot and I don't know where the hell I was. All I remember is that they had air conditioners in the window. And yeah, they
Bro,
had
that
air
sounds like a
conditioning.
liquor house. That
Yeah,
sound
I was in Decatur somewhere. I don't know where the hell I was, but I had a good
oh
time.
god.
Hey, it was all love. I got free drinks. It was
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
love.
That sounds like a liquor house right
Yeah,
there though, bro.
because and the segue into that, the liquor houses and
Yes.
the house parties. We have
Mm.
hit a lot of them. Shout
Yeah.
out to Greenville. We hang out with IB down in Greenville.
Yes. Yeah.
Had some very good times.
Uh,
I've been out here in the back roads of Lancaster, Gas House.
Gas house. Shout out
Oh,
to
there
Gas.
was a liquor house and gas house. Wow, I was a kid. I was a baby. And
Oh wow.
I probably shouldn't have been in there, but yeah, shout out the gas.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you on that. But I'm gonna say this right here though. That's how our people used to celebrate and one another or even uplift one another instead of going to the hottest spot, the commercial areas. We went to a more local environment, and it was the liquor house, and they would serve you drinks, they would serve you food, and depending on what your vibe was, if you was into gambling, they play cards or they do dice,
Mm.
but things can pop off,
Oh yeah.
when that
Yeah.
level comes into it. But I smile and I laugh at a lot of these names that you're naming because these places represent good times. I've had some fun. And I'm not saying nothing disrespectful. It's just being around grown folks and having a good time. It ain't about who you can get
And
with
making it home.
and making it home safe and making it home safe. You have a good time. You may even dance to yourself, have a few drinks with your
Yes.
boys or the ladies. Sometimes the ladies dance to themselves and the
Ooh.
guys just sit back, drink or whatever. But I remember one particular time and we got you really good. And I
Mm.
think I orchestrated it. I can't remember, but it was your birthday.
Yes.
And you was like, bump this, I'm going out. I'm like, you
Yes.
going out? You was like, yeah, I'm going out. Where you going out to? I Googled it. I got the fellas together and we
Yes.
rode down to Augusto.
Mm.
And when we walked through the
Shout out
door,
to Augusta.
shout out to Augusto. We walked through the door and you seen us. You was so happy. I mean, it was like one of my favorite times. One of my
Mm.
favorite times of us hanging out because on that night you didn't see it coming, bro.
No, I
You didn't
didn't.
see it. Yeah, you didn't see it coming. And we had drinks and everything. And oh my gosh, it was just a good time. Then we went to the Waffle House and yeah, we was kind of loud, but sometimes that's
Let
what the
me
drink
walk out.
do. But we fed that liquor, then we went
Yes.
back to your crib and went to sleep. Everybody
Yes.
was what? Safe. It
Yes.
was all good. What nothing but love.
Yeah.
Celebrating your birthday. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely remember that. Appreciate that. But the great thing about that, and when you ended that, when you were saying we were always say, let me tell you one thing about it. And in 25, 30 plus years of us going out, every spot that we went to, people showed us love. And
Oh yeah.
and that's what I really appreciated. No matter where we went, whether it was ATL, whether it was Augusta, whether it was Miami, whether it's Vegas, wherever, Charlotte, Rock Hill, Lancaster, wherever, we always got love. Like
Exactly.
we never had issues. We never
Big
had issues.
facts.
It was all love. And people, we gave love and people, reciprocated that and gave us love back. And we never had any issues. Never had any issues.
I
Slight
think
issues.
it's because of the energy, man. I mean,
Yeah.
some people can pick up on your energy. I know I like to see people with good energy, and then I appreciate that. I gravitate to that versus somebody walking through with me mugging or whatever. No, we don't acknowledge that. We stay away from the trouble, but we're here to have a good time. We're here to celebrate whatever we're here to celebrate, and we want to get back home safe because we have our lives to live as well.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's people that like we met throughout the years and in different spots that still cool with,
Still cool
still
with.
cool with. Like I
Yeah.
know, hey, I can hit you up. Hey, I'm in your city. Hey, let's turn up, whatever the case may
Yeah.
be. Even though I don't turn up like that anymore,
Nah.
but if need be, we know it's there.
I think it's good that you at least experienced it, because
Yeah.
now you have no desire for it. Now
No.
your desire is on a whole nother level of happiness
But
that
don't
you
get it
want.
twisted, bro. I still turn up.
What?
I'm pushing.
You think I
I'm on
forgot?
that 50 year. I'm on that 50 year. I still turn up. I just turn up with my wife, and like she just sits there and is like, I'm just gonna let him do what he do, and and I love my wife to
Oh,
death, and
I
and
know
that
that's
that
right.
is
Shout
that
out
is
to
my
Wavy. I remember when
yeah.
I met her for the first time. I didn't know how serious it was. I kind of felt it was serious because you told me, hey, I feel like this is it, or whatever, and I
Yes.
want her to meet the fellas, whatever. And I asked her, I say, have you ever been around him? He was dancing and he did this right here. She said, oh yeah. I said, okay, but then you already know.
Yes. My wife is awesome. Like, yeah, she knows my
Oh,
dance. She
oh
can
God.
replicate it very well. She likes showing the kids, my dance, and Yeah,
That was
she
awesome.
got the full experience. My birthday a couple of years ago, me and E-Love, we went to ATL and turned up and partied all night. It was right after DMX passed away, and his DJ was actually there in DJ
Oh,
for us.
okay.
And yeah, we turned the hell up. And she was like, okay, all right, bring your ass on. But she fit like I said, I can't say enough about that woman. Mad love to her.
Yeah, that's what's
But
up.
she understands the late night, early morning. She know how I
That's
go
what's
down,
up. That's what's up. That's a
But
beautiful thing. I know, like for me, and my wife, I have my moments, whether it's hip hop or R&B. I have my moments where I just feel like dancing. And my
yes.
wife entertains me. She danced with me. I don't care, because it's certain things that I miss, and slow dragging is one of them. Because
Mm,
like you said, man, before we had hip hop, we had R&B. I'm
yes.
old school with it. I'm 52. So I remember learning how to slow drag, and then
Mm.
waiting towards the end of the night when the DJ slow it down.
Them high school dances.
And high school dances. Exactly. So every time I get in that level of a mood or where, baby, it's not just like celebrations, but I could just be in the mood when I hear a song and I want to slow drink. I just get up, I do my little two
Hey.
step. Cause see, I'm at that age that two step is mean, but
Yes.
wifey entertains that, man. She rock with me on that. Shout out to
No
my
doubt.
wifey as well.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know, that's the whole point is and this leans more into your show as far as like having that relationship. That person that you're with needs to be your best friend, needs to be your best friend, that person that you can rock with, act
Say
crazy
that.
with,
Say
all
that.
that, because that's who you're with, that's who you choose. And I can talk an hour about that, and I do,
Yeah.
but when you find that person, you never want to let them go, because they are truly, truly a gift from God.
Good,
And
bad, and ugly. You rock through it.
exactly, exactly. But I'm gonna wrap this up here in a minute, because I know, like I said, you've been on the road or whatever. It's getting kind of late. And so a funny story here about going out and hanging out or whatever. And I hate that he couldn't be on the show, and I got to get him on the show with us. Me and IB in our younger years, young years. I think I had just got home not too long from the military or whatever. I was still in the military during that time. And he came down to Charleston. We were down in Charleston. This is when he had his black SS, Monte Carlo, T-top, you know, all this. So, but if you know me and if you ever see me out, you know my style. I'm gonna have suit, blazer, whatever. Now I'm elevated to blazer. I mean the suits now. But I'm me. I'm doing me. He's following suit. He's doing him, and we're both sharp down. This how long ago this was, Rico? We both had bag phones. We had bag phones. We had bag phones. We
Oh,
had the phones in the bag. So both
yeah.
of us, we both have bag phones. And we got our phones
Okay.
in the bag. We're in Charleston, and we're hanging out, and we have some friends down there, and it's like, hey, come hang out. We're gonna take you to a spot. Cool. We in the black SS, T-tops, whole nine, bag phones, dress down, vest, suit. We suited and booted.
Yeah.
So they take us out. We go all the way out, and to what's called Johns Island. If you're from Charleston or whatever the case, you know what Johns Island is. John Island is way on the other end of Charleston. And we get out there, and so we're suited and booted, got the bag phones on, because you can't go nowhere without the bag phone. So we got our
Okay.
bag phones on, we out. Ain't nobody calling our asses, but we got the bag phones for the look. Crockett and Tubbs, Miami Vice shit. So we got the bag phone. We in Charleston, Johns Island, and we out. And so it's like, hey, come in here. They're gonna show you a little this, that, and other. So Ivory is a friend to everybody. That
Oh, my.
brother
Yeah.
knows everybody and is everybody's friend. I don't care. And
Mm.
he's laid back and cool. And that's why me and him can hang, because I'm like, I'm analyzing everything. I'm looking at the whole picture, and I'm like, look, if something ain't right, something ain't right. So we get out there. He's in his mode or whatever, chill as he does, still does. And I'm looking around. We're in basically suit gear, bag phones, looking like we about to make a transaction. And I'm looking around. Everybody's in there with cut off jean shorts. How old this is, and you can't touch this t-shirt. You can't touch this t-shirt. Yes, yes. I'm looking around. I'm like, we need no. What did it for me? And you know how I am, bro. We've been out, and you know how I am. I look around. I see swamp on the left side. I see swamp on the right side. I see swamp in the ocean on the front of us. I'm like, bruh, these cats down here with cut off shorts and you can't touch this t-shirt. We're in suits with bag phones. We're surrounded by water. They don't know us. They think we're on that side of the game.
Yeah.
They got us outnumbered. Like, this ain't a good look. This ain't a good look.
Yeah.
Even though we ain't in that game, they're going to think that we're in that game, and they're going to want what we ain't got.
That's what they do.
Yeah. And I'm like, bro, we got to go. We got to go. He's like, nah, it's chill. And the people we with us chill. Nah, this ain't good for me and him. No. These are all locals. This is their hood. I got to respect that and know that they think that we're coming to take something. We got to go.
Yeah.
So we hop back in the ride. I grab the keys. I'm driving out of the island. Cop pulls me over. And we got activities going on. activities. And I'm like, get rid of those activities. Yeah, we got Popo up here. So I'm sitting up here, and this is how wild I am. This is my young years. That's how I'm arguing with the cop. And IB's like, look, bro, take your ticket and shut the heck up. Let's get out of here. I'm like, okay. I got the ticket, and I'm flying. As soon as I left the cop, I punched it again. I'm in the SS. So I punched it to get off that island. Yeah. It was crazy. But it's just about that whole thing, knowing your surroundings or whatever. And he was like, bro, you were probably right. Like, that wasn't a good look for us. And I said, no. I said, that was their hood. That was their crowd. We in suits, basically, with bag phones. They in cut off jeans, and you can't touch this t-shirts. You can't touch this. This is how long ago this was. I'm like, bro, yeah, that wasn't the look for us. So
stop. Hammer time.
It was hammer
Yeah,
time. It was
even if y'all just had on some slacks that reach your ankles. I mean, you in a suit compared to where you was at. It sound like you was in swap land, bro.
I was.
That's beyond the liquor house, man. Because
we were
down in there. They got gators.
Yeah,
bro, they got gators.
Yeah. If they could have did whatever with us, threw us in the water, ain't nobody coming down there looking for us.
That's my point right there. Especially when you got a bag phone. Cause see, back then, if you had a cell phone and it consists of a bag that had a shoulder strap, you had money. You had money, bro. And you can't, you never know you're gonna get a phone call. So you gotta carry your bag.
Them phone calls were high as hell. They would charge you like $10 a minute. It was crazy. Why the hell did I have a bag phone?
It was accessory.
Shout out to the bag phones.
Shout out to the bag phones. Yes. Dude, that's crazy, man. That's a crazy story right there. Yeah, I don't think I heard of that one though, bro. I don't think I heard that one. And if I did, I probably forgot it.
You probably did. We had some wild stuff going on back in the day. But yeah. Never go in the swamp with a bag phone.
Lesson learned.
Bless him. You know, yeah, crazy times. But with all that being said, we still here. God has blessed us.
Yes.
And we talked about a lot. I know I am way over my limit. I'm like at I ain't even gonna count the time. No, you got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I need to wrap it up. So, but before I go into my outro, something else. One of the things that I love about the podcast is it's been, and kind of what I said in the beginning of the podcast, I'm transitioning out of DJing. Like I've been DJing for God knows how long, 25, 30 years, somewhere in that time frame. And I still will DJ, but I'm not as proactive in it as I used to be. I do it for fun, more or less now. And one of those things, but it has kind of invoked with the podcast, it's kind of invoked me to go back into, making beats and things of that nature. So I got one for you. I actually did this one. I haven't finished it yet, but I want to play it for you and the people here. All right. So
Okay.
just deal with me for a second as I bump this one right quick.
Ah, shit.
Mess with me a little bit. Beats by DJ Bax. For the people in the back, Just want to do a little something, like I said, I've been messing around with the beats. I ain't done with it yet, but
I like that, man.
Yeah.
You've been in the lab.
I've been in the
working.
lab.
Yes, sir. That sounds
the
good
lab.
right there.
Yeah,
I can't wait till you finish that. Let me hear the breakdown to that and then build it back up again.
Oh yeah. I'll
Yeah. Yes,
definitely mess
sir.
with a little something.
I'm gonna have to get on there and sing.
Yeah. But you know what it is. It is late night, early mornings.
Yeah.
DJ Bax Podcast, The Conversation. Shout out to my brother, Mr. Spring, Springtime. You know where you can find him. OWE, Organized Words of Expression, y'all. Check this brother out. Spotify, Facebook, website. You know what I'm saying? So, we definitely get it cracking here. So we about to get out of here. As we do, late night, early mornings. Let's go.